Hey there YouTube, Mr.Lubufu, and I'm here with a pack opening for Modern Masters 2. Unfortunately, I'm going to preface this by knowing that I know that these cards are not going to be the best. So I played in a lot of drafts and some seals at my local game store, and this was the prize support in addition to Dragons of Tarkir pre-release pack, which was pretty awesome, and unlimited Birds of Paradise. But I got these 3 packs, which would be cool and all if it wasn't for the fact that the other people that won packs from the same box decided to all open them while they were still there. And the guy that I beat in the second round opened the foil Tarmogoyf, and the guy that I beat in the third round opened Bob. So all the packs came from the same box, so it's almost certain that these are not going to be good quality opens. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you guys what I've learned from the set, one pack at a time. So I'm going to treat all of these as though they were pack one, pick one, discuss my thoughts, and move on that way, because that's all I can hope to do, because I know that this pack is pretty empty. So okay, so this pack had the foil rare from the box. If you open a foil mythic, it doesn't count for your foil rare. So we got a foil Apocalypse Hydra and an Ant Queen as our rares. By the way, I also haven't opened money yet. So this pack has a few cards that might push you in a bunch of different directions. The first and perhaps the most obvious thing you have to look at are both Ant Queen and Apocalypse Hydra. Both of them are complete bomb rares, and taking either one of them is just super impressive. Now the question is, do you take Ant Queen or Hydra? That's, I think, a matter of personal preference, but you can imagine that whichever one you take, the person to your right is also going to take. And it's also unfortunate that probably the next best card in the pack is Bestial Menace. Ethersworn Knight, or Ethercast Knight, pardon, is also very, very powerful in the Affinity deck. So I can imagine, these 4 cards are probably the first 4 picked, in some order. Evolving Wilds and Wayfarer's Bauble, both pretty good, though Bauble's far more powerful than Wilds. It's a colorless rampant growth, since most decks aren't doing anything on turn 1. Other notable picks are Soul Eater. Cloud Elemental's fine, it's just a decent creature. Bone Splitters, this will almost certainly table. Mutagenic Growth is okay, it's, not insane, but I know a lot of decks want to play it. The problem is with this pack, if I was pack one, pick one, and it's well, I would take Ant Queen myself. I prefer it over Apocalypse Hydra, because it keeps me in one color at least. Is knowing that the next 2 players are going to be in green, which means I'm going to want to either look for my second color pretty fast, or try to cut green pretty hard to try and make sure that any people who took the early green cards can't commit to it early. Hopefully, either the Bone Splinters, the Evolving Wilds tables, probably not. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5, 6, 7, 8. It's close on the border, depending on whether or not one of them tables. Okay, next pack. Make sure I just want to line up the cards with the corner of the camera. And there we go. So once again, as you see, the pack doesn't have any value in it. I haven't opened any cards of value, oddly enough, from Modern Masters 2. So this one is kind of an interesting if it was pack one, pick one. So Zerkar Spellblade's kind of pretty bad for a rare, so it's not like a bomb rare that we want to jump in right away. There are 3 cards that really stand out as really, really powerful. And they are Oblivion Ring, the Rootkin, and Chancery, with also Arrest being quite powerful. The other cards I think are just a good step down. If it was pack one, pick one, I would be tempted to just take the Oblivion Ring. Um, just because it's the most, I would say, innately powerful card of the pack. It's unfortunate that I would be passing a Bounce Land and an Arrest. Bounce Land is very, very powerful. But I think Oblivion Ring being just the catch-all answer for basically anything in the set makes it kind of really important. I would also like to point out why, like, Rootkin is one of those cards that if you can pick up pretty early on and put yourself into the blue-green archetype, this is the type of card that rewards you for it. It's very, very powerful in the Graph deck. If you get to cast it on turn 4, after casting, you know, let's say, Spider into a 3-drop, and you graft it onto it. Just having a 4/4 that basically proliferates your +1/+1 counters can be just really good, and the other effect is also very strong. It's a 4/4/4, very aggressively costed. So I would take the Oblivion Ring, and then I would see what might table. I'm not sure. Knowing people, someone might take the rare unless they're well aware about it. So let's see. This will be gone. This will be gone. This will be gone. This will be gone. 4/1 Minotaurs is very strong as a 5 or 4 mana 5/5 in the right deck, which is like just the largest creature in the format at that mana cost. Crusher is almost certainly taken by the green ramp decks. Grim Affliction is also a decent piece of removal. I like Cathodion a little bit more in Sealed, because Sealed you like to be jamming a couple more colors, and having a consistent 3 mana 3/3 is quite good. Like, this guy's also, he's very underrated. You don't look at the ability that much. You just look at 3 mana 3/3, and this is a format filled with 3 mana 2/2s. So it's like you got 3 mana 2/2s and 4 mana 3/3s. That's what this format is. So being able to come out a little bit ahead in that mana game's good. The Arrest, as I said, is almost surely just going to be taken as well pretty early on. I think Arrest is the best white common. On to the last pack. There you go. So as you see, again, no value opened. That's my luck with this set, by the way, is no value. So, in this pack, it's kind of interesting, because I think my opinion might be a little bit different from a lot of people's. Necroskitter, it can be, Horned Turtle never looked so scary, I suppose. It's a 1/4 with Wither that anytime a creature with a -1/-1 counter dies, that your opponent controls, you get it. Which can be a very strong effect. But I probably wouldn't take it pack one, pick one. Because I think that there's just a more powerful card here in Savage Twister. If you have not played with Savage Twister, let me tell you, you can set up your Savage Twisters to be Wrath of God, which is not as good. Or you can set them up to be Plague Wind, which is absolutely bonkers. This card is very, very powerful. Definitely one of the, like, early on if you can commit to it, or just even splash it if you're in a green deck. Other cards that stand out, Bounce Land, of course. Bounce Lands are pretty good. They let you do a lot of things, like play fewer lands. For those of you that don't know, if you have 2 Bounce Lands in your deck, treat those 2 Bounce Lands as 3 total lands. Since by having a Bounce Land, it sort of like helps your mana base, and that makes, or at least helps you hit your land drop, so you get to shave a land and play an extra spell, which is really powerful. Other powerful cards apart from Twister, Sanctuary, and Necroskitter that I would like to point out. Skeleton, if you're in either black-green or even like Spirits, you can draft some pretty bonkers things with reassembling Skeleton, like Plagued Rusalka or Mortar Pod. You can do some really cool, tricky things. I don't think it's like an early pick, but if you're in that archetype, it's certainly something to keep your eye out on. Burst Lightning, very powerful, probably the best red, like one of the top red commons. Mana Leak is, I think, the best blue common, actually, in this format. Just because everyone's playing so many powerful spells, the ability to just in the early game, just counter anything of relevance or not care about it, and then counter something a little bit later on can be really powerful. Mana Leak is one of those cards that anytime you're playing against a blue player, you have to watch out for. The rest of the deck isn't like super impressive. You got a whole bunch of filler for a bunch of archetypes, like Bone Splinters for the sack deck, Kami for spirits, or just as a 2-mana 2/2. Cathodion goes into any deck, Blades. People keep jamming into decks, and I haven't been impressed with. I don't like Steady Progress at all. Like, wasn't good the first time around. So, I don't even think Steady Progress is worth considering. Court Homunculus is fine in Affinity. Warpaint is eh. Gutshot's eh. So, basically, like, if I take the Savage Twister, I don't expect to see anything table in green or red that would be relevant. Maybe I get the Sylvan Bounty if I'm lucky, depending on how high people are valuing fixing. But that's kind of what I would take. And this is my thought process. I hope you guys enjoy this this pack opening, even though I knew I wasn't going to get any value. Thank you guys all for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.